Someone upgraded this old amplifier with a grounded power cord. That's a great idea. I think it's good, right? Looking inside the chassis, they tied the ground to the chassis ground, which is good. They tied the black to the black going inside the amplifier. Although I don't know if I trust this outlet all that much. But it's tied here. And they tied the white to the white. Everything looks perfect, right? Looks right to me. Now let's look at the fuse. It comes over here to the fuse, to the back side of the fuse, which is good. Up here to the front side of the fuse. Then goes over here to a terminal strip. So you can see right here the terminal strip. They have the white wire connected here. It goes up through the switch, comes back here, and goes into the transformer. And the black side simply comes over and hooks right here. It hooks to the light bulb and also to the transformer. Can you spot the problem? So if you didn't catch it, our amp has broken two rules, one for the UL and the other for the NEC. And the NEC and the UL both state that the protective device has to be placed on the hot line specifically and not the neutral. And the other rule that we have broken is the switch must also be on the hot side, and you should never switch to neutral by both NEC and UL codes. Most of these codes have been written because someone either got injured or ended up taking a trip over the Rainbow Bridge and pushing up daisies. And you don't want to be one of those people, so we're going to correct this in the amp. To understand why this happened, you have to remember this amp was designed in a completely different era, back when this was considered recreation. And this was considered a toy. And this was an excellent idea. And not to mention lawn darts. They were the greatest thing, just impale your neighbor. In the 60s and 70s, there wasn't a thing such as a polarized plug. So every time you plugged in your amp or a piece of equipment, you're flipping a coin as to whether you're flipping the hot side of the circuit or the neutral side of the circuit. That's just the way things were done back then. But we need to go ahead and correct it for today's electric service. So to fix this in our circuit, what we're going to have to do is get the black side to come to the back side of this fuse. Then the side that's actually feeding the circuit, this will also be black, and it has to come out here to the switch, go across the switch, and then go into the transformer. And then on the other side, we bring our neutral in over here, which would be okay because we're feeding the other side of the transformer, and we're basically just going to have to switch the black and the white wires here. This yellow wire used to go to this, which was where the death cap is, so we can take that one out. Please do not attempt this unless you're qualified or you feel qualified. You're taking your own life in your hands. I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, but be careful when you're inside these amps. Now, before you work in any amplifier, you have to know that there are dangerous voltages. There's high voltage DC in here, which is approximately 350 to 400 volts. You've got 260. So on these caps, there's actually 3 caps in here. There's a cap here, and then you got 120 volts here with the unit plugged in. So the first thing you're going to do is unplug the unit. But second of all, if you don't feel comfortable working around high voltage, or you haven't done it, I would highly suggest that you take it to a technician that is qualified to work on high voltage equipment. If you decide to go ahead and do this on your own, know that you have a potential hazardous situation, and you need to know how to discharge these caps. The other thing is, if you're in an amp like this, you want to use one hand at a time, so that way that you don't get a lethal shock across the heart. That's the one hand rule. The other is using a proper isolation tool, like a variac with an isolation transformer, which is what this unit is here. If you don't have a variac, they make things such as this, which is an isolation transformer. And you can use what they call a dim bulb tester, which I don't have because I have the variac. Now for me, I use just a basic cap discharger so that, you know, the cap can hold voltage even after the power cord's unplugged. So this cap discharger has a light and it has a ground. So rather than refer you to another video, my cap discharge unit is just a 47 ohm resistor. This is the probe side, and this comes out to the ground connector. So we just have a ground clamp back here. So there's our ground clamp. So our 47 ohm goes straight across. And in parallel with that, we have an LED and a 5.6K ohm resistor that's also tied to the 47 ohms. So this acts like a shunt. And what happens is you'll get a real quick flash of the LED, even at, you know, if you're discharging a 400 volt cap, it works really well. That's all it is. And then the case itself was just a fuse holder case that was 3D printed. So all this was put inside there, and it's fairly safe because it's plastic. So you can hang on to it and discharge caps. If we go and we ground, on the back of this cap is a good ground. So if we go to that ground and we have to go and touch every one of the active components, the cap will discharge. And this one here we can't get to, so we're going to go out here to this point on the schematic and discharge it. So I would not put my hands in this amp until I have discharged all the potential lethal voltages. So this is the actual schematic. You can see it's a model AC12 Ampeg. Was made somewhere, the date on it is 10 of 1969. So this was done back in 1969. And they don't really show here on the plug, which is non-polarized at the time, whether it is white or black, but you should have the black wire coming in here across the fuse to the switch, and here's our death cap. So the death cap was removed across the switch to the red black of the power transformer. Then your neutral side would come down here to this side and just go to the black side of the power transformer. The power light, it really doesn't matter which way this is across there. It's going to work either way, even if you have the light down on this side or the resistor up on this side. As long as that is a series circuit across the transformer, it's going to work. So according to the new UL standards and the NEC code, you want to switch the hot side and not the neutral side of the circuit. And that is what's wrong with our amp. We got to switch this around, since we put the 3-prong adapter on there to make the hot side go across the fuse and the switch, and the neutral side go on the other side of the circuit. Otherwise, if you have the neutral side up here and you blow the fuse, you still have power going into the unit, even though the fuse is blown. You still have 110 volts here. And say something happened on the fuse side where the fuse is blown, you could still have power throughout the equipment with that fuse blown. It's like the odds of winning the lottery, but you don't want to be the guy winning the lottery. So this was the death cap, and I've removed the death cap, and we'll talk about the death cap later. But in this instance, I've pulled the death cap out of this amplifier. So on a standard outlet, we have a hot side, which is the short prong. We have the neutral side, and we have the ground. Normally in an electrical outlet, the long side is attached to the silver side, which is attached to the white wire. The hot side, which is the smaller side, is attached to the gold side, which is the black wire. The green ground is hooked up here so that the chassis of the outlet itself and any plate that you put on here is going to be grounded to ground to compensate and stop electrical shock. So this is our final corrected wiring. The black wire comes up and is tied to this pin. It comes over to the bottom side of the fuse, goes out the top side of the fuse, comes through the case over to the switch. Then the switch goes through the switch, comes out the switch, and turns the transformer on. It also goes to the light right there. So it goes to the transformer and the light from this terminal. Our neutral wire comes up, tags right here, joins together, and then bypasses the fuse, comes over to the other side of the transformer, which is here, and the other side of the light. Our ground comes up here and grounds to the chassis. So now we're in compliance with the UL and the NEC codes, and our amp is safe to operate. You notice that we took out the yellow wire that went to the death cap, and the death cap is gone. So we'll talk about the death cap next. So we've removed the death cap, and the question is, why do people call this a death cap? I did some research and found that nobody's actually died from the death cap. There are no documented cases where the failure of this cap has caused someone to perish. However, this cap has caused many people to get shocked, and I'll explain that right now. When you look at the schematic, this is the death cap right here. So it's tied to the hot line and ties the hot line straight to chassis. Well, if we look back at our jack, this is the instrument jack over here. It's also tied straight to chassis. So in order to understand this, we have to do a little math. Basically, if we want to know the impedance of the capacitor, which is a 0.047 microfarad cap, Z is equal to 1 over 2 pi FC. So if we work out the formula, we have 1 over 6.28 times 60 times 0.047 microfarads. And that comes out to Z equals 56K. So basically we have a 56K effective resistance from the hot lead to the chassis. If we work out the current with using I equals E over R, we find out that the current is only 2.14 milliamps, which isn't bad until you get a situation where back in the old days you might have had an amp with the what they call the death cap, and we might have had a PA system with the death cap. And in between you have the human, because if the ground of this amp circuit is tied to the bridge and the strings of the guitar, say the player is touching the strings of the guitar, and it's tapped into the L1 side of the power. Now explaining this, most house wiring, you have a high voltage step down transformer over here, and on the secondary side coming into your house, you have a 240 volt transformer that's center tapped. So that's how you get center 120 volts on leg 1 and 120 volts on leg 2. between the two, you got 240. And if you go from one side to ground, you got 120. So that's how your house is wired normally. So what happens if the amp is plugged into an L1 circuit on the stage, and then across the stage, the PA is attached to the L2 circuit? Well, guess what? Since both of these 56K ohm resistors are tied to the chassis, and the bridge is tied to that resistor, when this poor guy touches his strings and then hits the mic stand, he gets a nasty shock. So that's basically why they deemed this thing as the depth cap. If you got that shock across the lip, you know, between you were touching the strings and your lip hit the microphone, a pretty nasty shock. So that's the whole thing behind the death cap. Like I said, as far as I can find out, no one's ever been killed, but it has a shock hazard. Now, the reason they put it into the circuit was to get rid of EMI or filter out any EMI that came in on the power line. But since now your chassis is grounded, you really don't have to worry about that too much. You can still get some, and you could put Y caps in, but for the most part, you don't need them. I just ground the chassis and you're good to go. The interesting part of this situation isn't that the amplifier was designed this way. The interesting part is that somebody modernized half of it. They added the ground cord, which is great, but they forgot the other half. They forgot to check how the fuse was wired, and they forgot to check how the power switch itself was wired. Sometimes a safety upgrade isn't really a safety upgrade until you understand the entire circuit. Well, I hope that gives you some insight into modifying your guitar to put on a grounded plug, and some insight into what the death cap is and what it actually does, and why people remove it. So thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.